welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? And we give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Hymanson.
And we are here in 2020. We made it.
We made it.
The world didn't end. We had a nice
Came
little
close there, but we eked it out.
We had a nice little break, and now we are back. And we didn't tell you guys what we're doing this time, but we're here talking Bad Boys. And we have, also a very special guest with us, a special musical guest. Musician Iwari is here with us. Iwari, hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, excited to have you on. Excited to talk about Bad Boys.
And excited to hear what all of our listeners did over their holiday break. If you want to write us and let us know where you went skiing or went to the beach or whatever you did.
What franchise you binged.
That's right.
Yeah.
Email us at sequelrights@gmail.com and let us know your suggestions for franchises for this whole upcoming year. And also you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sequel Rights.
And you guys, I got a secret for you. We have a whole year of 2020 of franchises that we don't have planned out, that we need suggestions, and the best way to get your suggestion to us is to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Leave what franchise you want us to tackle this year, something that you want us to talk about, and chances are we'll do it.
That's right. But today, we're talking about Bad Boys with Iwari, 1995. We're taking it back, getting ready for the new one that's coming out in a couple weeks here.
Yeah, it's called Bad Boys for Life, but it is sadly not the fourth movie.
Right. Bad Boys for Life.
How dare they miss out on that?
That was, they messed that up. They really messed that up.
They really did.
Oh, well.
Well, why don't we just dive right in?
It was brilliant. It was foolproof. It was the perfect crime. But for Miami detectives Marcus Burnett and Mike Lowry,
Buenos dias, mi amor.
it was the ultimate nightmare.
This was our career bust, which is what, $100 million?
Just do what you do, only faster.
Great to hear that voice doing the trailer.
Yeah.
When in the beginning, I was like, "What is he talking about? What was brilliant?" I don't know. Like,
They're showing scenes of the heist that starts off this movie.
It was brilliant. They killed an innocent man as a distraction for reasons.
Yeah, and then it sounds like it's a horror movie, but it was their worst nightmare.
Right.
Pretty scary. So, I want to start off talking about everyone's history with the franchise. And I want to start with Iwari. So, Bad Boys.
Okay.
When did you see it?
Bad Boys, the first one. It was 95, so I was like 7. So I couldn't actually see this movie.
Right.
I think I wanted to see this movie. And what happened is, me and my mom, we used to movie skip a lot. So I think I saw most of this movie, all the way up until that last real action-packed scene. And, I got pulled out to go see whatever movie she wanted to actually see, or we were actually
we're going to Twister.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah. You're joking, but I literally think it was Twister.
Yeah.
So literally, I'm trying to watch Bad Boys every time it comes on TV, and it's literally the same thing happening. It's mom's just oh, we got to go somewhere.
What happens in the airplane hangar?
I think I finally saw the full thing before Bad Boys 2 came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I would say that's about the same for me. Also young when this came out.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw the trailer or commercial on TV and was just my young brain was explosions. But this was definitely a one where I didn't see it until before the new one came out.
Yeah, I didn't see it until Bad Boys 2 was coming out and went back. But The Rock, which is Michael Bay's next movie after this, was the first R-rated movie my parents let me watch.
Damn.
Was on a VHS release.
That's impressive.
At some point. And I remember, I love that movie. To this day, I love that movie. And I was so excited, it was when I was figuring out who directors were and what was going on with it. Like when Bad Boys 2 was coming out, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to catch up on this and watch both of these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it, and I've never seen any of them before.
Eliz watched it just yesterday.
There you go.
Actually, I watched it today.
Oh!
We got a newbie here.
What a way to ring in 2020.
Yeah.
Well, Bad Boys, I'm sure everyone already knows this, but in case you don't, it was Michael Bay's directorial debut.
That makes a lot of sense.
I had no idea.
See? Yeah, there you go.
And I believe starring debut for Martin Lawrence and feature film starring debut.
Yes.
And
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yeah, who both had like crazy hit shows
Yeah.
at this time with Martin and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I love that this is Michael Bay's first movie, and you can already see all like from the get-go. The very first scene is like car porn, and they're talking about cars.
Talking about cars, and Michael Bay throws out the tripod. That camera is not sitting still ever.
Yep.
Always must be moving.
Yep.
I was kind of surprised because I think Will Smith's character seems like older than I would have expected for this time in his career, because I think later his movies he even more leans into the like, I'm the new kid, I'm squeaky clean family fun or whatever, whereas this is like, pretty like is this rated R?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty R-rated, and he's playing, it doesn't seem like he's playing a brand new cop, it's like, it seems like an experienced guy, and I don't know, it wasn't, I thought this movie happened a lot later than it did when I looked it up afterwards.
He's the rich ladies man.
The rich ladies man. Which, it's a great dynamic of him just being like, you don't say like, oh yeah, I'm an independently wealthy cop, and I just do it.
Yeah.
Because I love being a cop.
Right. He dates working girls.
Joey Pants is his boss.
Yeah.
Joey Pants is bad at basketball.
I really thought that Joey Pants was going to be the villain for most of the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, it's Joey Pants. It's going to be him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that his last role as a hero?
It might have been.
Every time he shows up in a Bad Boys movie.
Yeah, he's showing up in John Wick 5 and just be like, oh, but I don't trust you.
So yeah, they had previously, before the movie, made some huge career bust of drugs, and now the drugs are gone. And that is the reason for this movie.
Yeah, we get this crazy opening heist, which I think is actually kind of fun. I love the contraption that they set up like a inner tube toboggan thing. Like a pneumatic tube that they're sending like a sled through to get all the money out, and then eventually people as well.
Yeah, they're just capitalizing on all that Cool Runnings popularity. What if we used some sort of bobsled to steal
drugs. All the drugs?
So relevant.
Yeah. It's all connected. So yeah, leading up to this, Michael Bay had directed a bunch of music videos and commercials and things like that, and it shows because we're already getting into the quick cutting, all of the craziness,
random slow-mo,
lots of slow-mo, and it kind of defined, action for 10 years, action movies, and it's John Woo too. There's definitely a brand of this 90s action movie, and watching it in retrospect, I have the nostalgia of being like, I remember feeling this was so badass. And then also being like, I could see somebody watching this today with fresh eyes being like, this is lame.
Yeah. Rewatching it, I was like, it is super 90s. But I kind of like that about it. It feels old, like a really old movie.
It does. It really does.
Which it kind of is. Just for fun, too, I thought it would be fun to, watch some of Michael Bay's most recent movie.
Yes.
That just, came out just before the holidays.
Did you watch some of...
I watched some of Six Underground. but didn't didn't get through it all.
Oh, is that the thing on Netflix?
Yeah.
I literally tried to watch that before Bad Boys, but it didn't work.
I know. I was like, oh man, you can see that everything has been just injected with more testosterone and even crazier editing. It's just
sweet.
gotten further out of hand from where it starts.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting, it was a $20 million movie. It's great. It seems like a giant movie to give a first time director, but more power to him. I mean, $19 million. I mean, that happens all the time now. A $20 million movie is not that much, especially in 1995 dollars. And right out of the gate, like, this is a pretty, it's a Lethal Weapon kind of buddy cop movie, but their dynamic is pretty unique and I think actually pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
Martin Lawrence is the family man, and Will Smith is the playboy.
Will Smith is Mike Lowry.
Have there been any like big buddy cop things that it's two like
Lethal
black
Weapon.
guys though?
Oh no,
because it's usually a black guy and a white guy or two white guys. So I think this was probably good at the time.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that might have been definitely the first one.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's cool to have that going on, but at the same time, like, that was like when the movie first came out, the buddy cop like formulaic stuff was like what a lot of the critics like knocked it for.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Just being like, oh, it just follows all the tropes of all the other buddy cop movies.
Yeah, especially because you have this lady coming in from IA, being like, I've been like wanting to bust you guys. You're all going to be reassigned.
Not just any lady.
No, it's
Dr. Laura Baker.
Marge Hogenberger from Species.
Yeah,
with insane hair.
There's a lot of insane hair in this movie.
It is a combination of like a insane mullet with the Rachel mixed up, and there's just like pieces and bangs flying everywhere, and it's a lot.
It's one of those things where like we all grew up in the 90s, like you're saying. Like I was around 7 years old when this movie came out as well, and going back and watching it, it's like I forget how 80s the 90s were.
That is the greatest way to put it.
Yeah, it's just like, look at all this hair, and he's like, when I page you, you call me, and it's like, this is 95.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's so much further along by that point, but no, like we were all, Teddy Ruxpins and corduroys.
The important thing is we're all still talking about Popeyes.
That's right. True. Absolutely.
Some things never change.
Yeah.
Certainly not Popeyes. although there is a sandwich now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that we also have Tay Leone in this movie.
Yes, with a lot of outfits.
So many outfits.
Yeah.
And dogs.
Many dogs.
she's great in this movie.
She really is.
I thought she was a lot of fun.
She witnesses a murder.
A moiter.
That is after the heist, because the corrupt cop that they used to get the information of where the drugs were going to be decided he was going to hire a working girl. And in one of the more awkward scenes in the movie, this working girl decides to just bring her roommate.
Yeah, that was so weird.
She's like her, I guess. It's not a pimp. It's just like somebody, wherever lady is.
It's a madam.
The madam that's controlling the service.
A female pimp is a
female
madam.
pimp. Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Or actually, sometimes there's both. But
Ooh,
yeah.
tell me more.
Depends on their gender fluidity.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yes.
But she's like, oh yeah, just bring your roommate. Like, she's pretty.
It was weird. It was like, why not just make her another working girl that came with her? Like,
right.
What person who is not a working girl goes with your roommate who you know is to a party, and she's like, it's just going to take 5 minutes. It's like, what? What did you mean by that?
No, it's not.
It seemed normal to me.
You're like, this happens all the time.
Well, yeah, and I mean,
Like maybe not the particular working girl part, but just the tag along to this party. Oh, we're just gonna stay for 5 seconds. Like,
that's true. That's true.
Right. But not
It's a tale as old
but not
as
a
time.
sex party.
This is never like straight up stated, really, and they kind of like speed by it, but it's Will Smith's fault. She went to this thing. Like, he went to her, and she was at her other job at a boxing gym or whatever, and he was like, oh, anything about this? Have you heard anything? So that's the whole reason she went to the madam and was like, who has a lot of money lately? And then they sent her. And when he sees her dead body, he cries and stuff, but like, he never straight up says, "It's my fault she died."
In that moment, it feels like, oh wow, like this movie's actually like he fucked up, he made a mistake, like he's feeling it, and then it's like, yeah, he feels really bad in that moment, and then it's never talked about again.
Yeah, but then he remembers he has a masseuse coming later that's just going to replace the other girl.
He has so many women like coming in that movie. It's like, how can you even remember this worker that got murdered? Unfortunately,
yeah, and like Tay Leone spends maybe half the movie being like, "Don't forget about my friend who died. That's what this is about, not about the drugs." And then halfway through the movie, she's like, oh, "Okay, I'm along for the ride."
I'm bored. I want to go to a club.
Yeah, like she's no longer like, "What about my friend?" You know,
she's like, "I'm gonna fuck with these guys who are pretending to be the different guy."
Yeah,
I'm gonna fuck with these guys who are doing a Cinderella story thing. No, I'm Mike.
No, I'm Mike.
It's like, she was extra trying to get some Mike Lowry. She was like,
That's right.
She's like, "You don't seem like Mike." If you was like, that was like the funniest scene to me was like when they're in the bedroom.
Oh
She was
yeah,
like, "You and Mike, we be doing something right now."
yeah. And Martin Lawrence is like, "No, I'm Mike. I'm gonna lay back."
It's like, see, ladies, you can pressure guys too.
Yeah, that whole thing is like probably my favorite part of the movie, like seeing Martin Lawrence try to pretend to be like the smooth Will Smith character. Even in imitating his voice a few times, I thought that was pretty funny.
I will say that it gets worn up pretty thin.
It really does.
Yeah.
So, like, when Will Smith is off doing something else when she calls the police station, and her friend who died told her only, like, if I'm ever in trouble, I'd only talk to Mike Lowry.
He's allegedly being upset about her death, I guess.
And he's also, like,
But
looking for something else, right?
But
He's looking
off screen.
He's going to interview the madam, too.
Right.
But, so, we get this whole ruse, slapstick comedy situation where he has to pretend to be Mike Lowry, and what's Will Smith's name? Marcus or no?
Mike Lowry. Oh,
Mike Lowry is Will Smith, but Martin Lawrence is pretending to
Marcus
be him.
Burnett. Yeah.
Marcus Burnett.
And then Will Smith has to pretend to be Marcus Burnett and go like live with his family.
A classic wife swap situation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think part of maybe what like wears thin with that comedy beat is like the whole movie seems like it like really leans hard on like Martin Lawrence to just like constantly talk and make as many jokes as you can. No one else is gonna make jokes.
Yeah,
just be constantly talking as loud as possible.
Joey Pants is making jokes.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. But I mean, Martin Lawrence has so many lines.
Oh yeah,
in this
so
movie.
many lines in this movie.
But I think a lot of it was improvised.
And they just let the ruse go on and on and on at the point where it's not really serving any purpose anymore. At this point, she knows both of them. She's not going to bail at this point, no matter what.
Yeah,
so it's like, just tell her what happened.
And then the audience is watching it, and then like Tay Leone's like, I already know that there's something like something's up here. Like probably 40 minutes into the movie, and then it proceeds for another 20 minutes. And then when Marcus's wife finally shows up, she's like, "Oh, which one?" He's like, "The tall one or the short one?" She's like, "It's the short one." She's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought." She walks away. It's like, then why did we endure this?
I mean, I was pretty sure she already knew when she was like gay baiting him, saying about why do you have all these pictures?
I thought you were gay.
Yeah. That was when I was like, she knows. But then they took way longer before really fully confirming it.
But we get that amazing scene where he calls his house while they're like looking at the photo book. And Will Smith had like taken out a photo, and right when he picks up the phone, he's like, he hears his wife go, "Oh my God, put it back. Put it back in.
Put it back in.
How'd you get it out?" Like, "Oh yeah, do it. Give it to me."
No, we can't tell Marcus.
Because it's just a picture of him with an afro.
Right.
I know, like the soundbite that he hears is so incriminating, just totally out of context. You're like, what?
And so he leaves the star witness and races over to his house to kill his best friend.
This got really, like, kind of old to me. Like, not the fact that they had switched places, but specifically the fact that he didn't trust his wife.
Do you think, oh, I was going to say, do you think that it got old because we got done watching 5 Cinderella movies?
Yes.
For some reason, like, I'm not who I say I am.
No, particularly, like, it's bad enough if you don't trust...
5 Cinderellas?
Oh my God.
Cinderella story. We just finished that last year.
Yeah.
And so it... Not only does he not trust his best friend to be at his house with his wife and kids, but he also thinks that his wife would cheat on him with this guy.
Right.
And, like, insists on physically going there. Like, he becomes, like, insanely possessive and has like an insane distrust of both of them.
Well, and then Mike's even like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, so when he finally tackles him and they fight and they almost blow the whole mission because of this, like, Will Smith's speech to him finally was like a reckoning of this. Because I was like, if no one calls him out on this, he's a dick. Like, which he kind of is anyway. But at least somebody calls him out and is like, dude, I wouldn't do that. But they still don't mention that the wife has agency in this situation and could choose whether or not to cheat on him with Will Smith. No one ever mentions that or says she doesn't want to cheat on you or she wouldn't cheat on you.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer. But at least Will Smith was like, dude, you're being nuts.
I will say that the way that they shoot the scenes with Will Smith and his wife, like it's obvious that there is none of that tension there.
Yeah.
And like that, like it's completely platonic and it seems like they're just having fun, you know, being friends.
Talking to someone different.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she's just had a vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Extra help. Like.
From crazy Martin Lawrence.
But yeah, the ongoing bit for the movie is that Martin Lawrence cannot catch a break with his wife. Like everything he does looks suspicious.
Yeah.
Everything he does.
And they're not having sex.
Yeah, they're not having sex.
Can't go quality time.
Quality time. There's a lot of talk about quality time and how when you're married, you don't get any quality time because your wife is so annoying and naggy. It's
that part sucked. Like it definitely took marriage down a notch.
Yeah. although Martin Lawrence does have a pretty great line where he's like, no, that's why I got married. I wanted to stop lying to everybody.
That is funny.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, he does fuck up a ton. Like he shows up and like he's with Tay Leone. He doesn't have his wedding ring on. He smells like perfume, and he's just like, I got nothing. Like I cannot explain this.
I know. He's just a funny fuck up in this movie.
It was a lot though. I could have done with like
the movie is 2 hours long.
75% of this harping on the wife.
Well,
you know,
so you've never seen Bad Boys 2?
No.
I have.
Well, look for it. Buckle up for the runtime on that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, did Michael Bay do that one too?
Oh yeah.
I mean, the action is fire though.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, this I remember Bad Boys 2, the low, we're standing up spinning shot, and I didn't realize that it was in this too.
It's
it is in this movie.
Like the super recognizable part of this movie is the shirtless "let's chase after cars on foot" scene.
Yes, and then there's one pigeon. There's one John Woo pigeon.
Yeah, one John Woo pigeon, and then when they do that fall and roll together and then stand up, that's like an iconic scene from this movie.
But yeah, Will Smith is running shirtless faster than a motor vehicle.
I love that. Like Martin Lawrence has caught up to this taxi, jumped on the top, fallen in front of it, all while we keep seeing cuts of Will Smith slow motion like, yeah, I'm getting there. And then he gets there just in time to push him out of the way.
Save Martin Lawrence. Well, should we talk about Club Hell? I think we should probably talk about Club
This is a
Hell.
part I had to rewatch a million times because I was so tired when I was watching this movie. I kept waking up at the parts when they were at Mike Lowry's apartment. So I was like, I missed this whole Club Hell part. And I saw the scene where like the kids see Martin Lawrence on TV. And I was like, wait, when did that scene happen? I had to like rewind.
Club Hell, Tay Leone like literally loses her mind and steals a gun from his apartment and goes to the club by herself and is just going to shoot someone in the middle of the club with hundreds of people watching.
And this is why the ruse of Martin Lawrence being Mike Lowry is wears super thin, because it's justified by Tay Leone being like, I'm only going to talk to Mike. That's the only person I trust. It's the only person I want to deal with. And then she basically just gets bored and like is like, she's terrified. Will not go into protective custody. Will not go anywhere else except for this dude's apartment. And then she's like, well, but these guys are trying to kill me. I should probably just go in front of them.
Run up to them.
Yeah.
And also, at this point, she clearly thinks that both of them are doofuses anyway.
Right,
So what does it matter which one's Mike and which one's not, you know? I don't know.
But yeah, so they go to this club, which is, I guess, a Miami club.
Club Hell.
They There's a lot of strippers, and the bartender is a giant shirtless skinhead with double pierced ears.
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence goes into the men's bathroom.
Right.
And
makes a crack about Budweiser.
We must be a sponsor because there's Budweiser signs all over
is
the
a wall in the men's bathroom a fish tank?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear. And also,
Have you been to Florida?
Yes, I actually went to Miami like a year ago, exactly a year ago. And I was like, man, if I had known we were going to do this series, I could have gone to some of these locations.
Went to Club Hell.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I could have gone to Club Hell. You know, I really wasted that opportunity. But so he's at the urinal, and the guy next to him, he's like doesn't really pay attention to, but then another guy he hears coming in, and so he pulls his gun out to shoot that guy, but then the other guy puts a plastic bag on his head. But this whole time I'm like, is his dick still out? Like, because then they
are
get
the
a
questions.
fight, and they're rolling around, and they're fighting, and they fly through the fish tank, and I'm like, I didn't see him zip.
Are you talking about the white dude or Martin Lawrence?
Martin Lawrence.
It's unclear if he finishes.
Yeah, I feel like I've studied this at some point in my past.
You like slow down the scene, like does
cut.
he?
Oh, they cut the scene. Like,
So, Eliz, are you demanding that at some point that an action movie has the balls to have a dick out fight scene?
Maybe. Heck, why
in
not?
a bathroom?
That's what they're all allegories for
dick
anyway.
out fight scenes have happened.
Yeah.
I've seen some amazing dick out fight scenes.
On purpose and on accident, probably.
You're saying that Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, and they're in a bathroom,
Yeah.
dicks out.
Well, Tom Cruise is gonna have to. I mean, we're just running out of shit for Mission Impossible.
That's true. He'll finally do something that he's like,
Yeah. We haven't seen Top Gun Maverick yet, so it could happen.
"Ooh."
He's flying those planes pantsless.
Oh man.
He's like, no hands flying this plane.
So yeah, they do the fish tank thing, and like, what? So okay, the bathroom is the fish tank, and then they fly.
Yeah,
through
the
it
bathroom
back into
is the fish tank.
Or it's part of the wall. But
It's
like,
a metaphor.
I forgot to check if the ASPCA monitored all the animal action. They probably did with the dogs. But what about these fish? Like,
Nobody cares about
The
fish.
fish perished.
But, like, don't fish can live and die and stuff or something?
They are permitted as of 2015. There's a law
They
passed.
can live.
Fish are permitted to
No,
live
what I mean is
and
like
die.
you can take a fish out the water and
Yes.
put
Yeah,
it
yeah,
back
yeah.
and
Yes,
like,
yes, absolutely.
they can
hopefully
hold-
they did that.
Like fish can hold their water.
Yes.
Or,
Briefly, yeah.
Just like Martin Lawrence with the bag over his head. He couldn't breathe, and then
God.
suddenly he could breathe.
There's one thing I have to say about this bathroom scene. Like the ending to me was just so savage because like the color of the pee he got smashed
yeah.
into. That was like
That was
as
so
a
sick.
man that pees, I know where that pee comes from.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
That's 3 coffees and it's been a few hours.
Forgot to drink water that
Yeah,
day.
exactly.
Also, maybe someone pooped in the urinal. I mean, it was dark brown.
Well, as Martin Lawrence said, Budweiser. Yeah, so
You're just
They
like,
stop
what?
her from shooting the bad guy.
I was just trying to get back to like what the ticking clock of this movie is. It's like the dudes have stolen the drugs from the police, and
Yeah.
they have 4 days to make a deal.
Yeah, because they've
Otherwise they're
somehow
gonna-
found out that 4 days it's going to be shipped off somewhere.
right.
Right, and they need to solve this case real fast because it's like they fucked up and they're going to get
Right.
Internal Affairs is going to reassign them.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
while they're waiting for this deal to go down, all the bad guys decided, hey, let's go party at Club Hell.
Well, it seemed like it was their headquarters. They had their own like VIP
As one does.
overhead viewing station of the club.
I also love that like the second somebody walked in, there was just some goon being like, "Hey, there's the girl."
Yeah.
I know. Well,
Hey,
it's like they
the
were looking at
cop.
the crowd all night.
Also, like, I mean, yeah, she's Taya Leone, but she's just like a white girl
Right.
on a very crowded dance floor, and they are looking from a very high vantage point. I don't know
Yeah.
how the hell you would recognize her, but okay.
And then there was lots of slow motion scenes of like, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you too. I know who you are. So do I. I have a gun.
I don't know why Will Smith even bothers stopping her. He should have just let her shoot him.
Yeah, why
I guess
not?
maybe he was worried she's going to miss and
'cause
shoot a
it's-
random person.
Like, doesn't she end up shooting him at like who pulls the trigger at the end? I forget.
Mike.
Mike,
Yeah, Mike does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm just saying, like, he stops her from killing her there, but then he kills her like later
Yeah.
in the movie, or the guy later in the movie, and it's just like,
Ostensibly, they are police officers. They can't just shoot a man in public in cold blood.
Right.
It was a Gemini Man situation.
Yeah.
Spoilers, sorry. Gemini Man.
Freeze, mother bitches!
Oh,
You guys know what that sound means, right?
I do not.
We got to freeze.
It means one very specific thing. Oh, it's time for the first Guess That Tagline of 2020. We are here with 3 contestants this week on the show. We have Eliz on the left, Iwari in the center, and Tyler on the right.
I'm scared.
For those of you who've never played this game, you're about to guess the tagline on the poster for Bad Boys. It's on Wikipedia, so maybe you might have seen it, maybe not.
Yeah, if you saw it, then you have to abstain. I did not see it, though.
I did not see it.
I have not.
Okay.
Wikipedia.
But basically, as soon as the timer stops here, you got 1 minute. A 1 minute timer to try to guess that tagline. I'll give you guys a couple hints, and we will get started
All right.
right almost now. Or not. Damn it, it always goes like one longer than I thought.
It goes super long.
See, there we go. All right, you guys ready? Here's your hint before you get going. It's 3 words only. Here we go. 1 minute on the clock.
What you gonna do?
Oh my God! What?
He cheated.
I did not shoot.
That's the winner! Finally!
First time ever.
No one has ever won this game.
That was
ever.
so fast! Oh my God!
I had a thought of it.
Because I was gonna say it's what you're gonna do when they come for you, but then when you said 3 words, I was like, well,
No, I was thinking
yeah.
the same thing, and I was like, no, it still
Wow!
works.
I wanted to do it this week because I thought someone might actually get this one. And holy crap! We have our first ever winner on Guess That Tagline. Woo!
I've never heard this noise.
I know, we've been waiting that whole time. Well, thanks for playing this week. You guys been playing.
Shortest game ever.
Until next time. Wow, that was shocking.
Oh my
I can't
God.
honestly can't believe you did that. That was very impressive.
I'm impressed myself. I've been training my whole life.
I knew there was a question mark in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that clip we played earlier, I think, is from one of the funniest scenes probably in the movie. They end up at this like convenience store, just trying to like. I don't even remember what they're doing there, but the guy
wanted to buy shampoo.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So stupid.
And then the shop owner like sees that he's got.
You know, women always trying to buy shampoo.
Just test it on animals. Forget it.
That was in there, huh?
Yeah. But the shop owner sees that they've got a gun, and he's like,
Freeze, mother bitches!
and it ends up with this crazy standoff, and more Martin Lawrence yelling and stuff.
Well, it seems that their power as a crime-fighting duo is that they distract people by bickering with each other.
Yeah, like an old married couple. Actually,
People just want to sit back and watch them go. They're just like, oh, this is too good.
I can't think of a good example, but I feel like this continues to happen throughout pop culture. Like 2 cops arguing to distract you, and then like,
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
this is a trope, for sure.
Right.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. It makes me think of the New Girl Prince episode for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
my favorite part of this scene was like they're basically being accused of trying to rob the convenience store, and once they get the up on the convenience store owner, they then proceed to actually rob the convenience store and demand.
When they're like,
Hey, freeze, bitch! You freeze, bitch! Oh, shit.
Yes.
And then he says, "Get me what Bubblicious," and
Yeah, a tropical fruit bubblicious.
yeah.
and then Martin Lawrence is like, "And some Skittles." I
Yeah.
was like, "That was probably."
And apparently, this was one of the things that Michael Bay like was not super fan of the script, I guess.
Oh.
And this was one of the scenes, like they improvise those lines. I mean, there's got to be a lot of improvisation.
I feel like there
movie.
definitely has to be. I will say that the script of this movie is actually pretty okay.
Yeah.
Like, plot-wise, if you're just going from an outline standpoint of, like, hey, it's these cops, this is what's happening.
It's like typical heisty cop movie.
Yeah.
I think
vaguely Russian bad guy.
Honestly, like, though, I think
back when all terrorists were white.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be better.
I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah, a simpler time when Gary Oldman was a bad guy and he was trying to take Air Force One.
That good old Cold War.
That's right.
About the script, though, like, the female characters are so horrible. I would have rather this movie just have no female characters. Like,
the female character development was definitely lacking.
Yeah.
It was really bad. Like, you know, we're like, oh, Marge Helgenberger's in this movie. She doesn't do anything except come in 3 times and be like, I've got you now. You're reassigned.
I know,
you
she's like not in any scenes, barely.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, Eliz. What about the person who is blackmailed and
yeah, I guess.
No, I'm totally joking. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, and then the
movie's called Bad Boys. I'm just kidding. I'm not putting that forward as an actual argument.
The wife, which I can't even. What's her name? Teresa. She gets like nothing really. Like, I mean, she's basically just nagging him the entire time.
She's
like,
a cartoon wife.
Yeah, her the way she's acting is not really reasonable for the wife of a police officer who knows he's going to have certain obligations, and certain, you know, and just I don't know. You don't even really see her like get to do anything other than like sort of flirt with Will Smith, but like we said, there's not really any sexual like tension there.
Yeah, even when she shows up to like, you know, find out what's really going on in that, like, at Mike's place, she doesn't even really do much there.
She doesn't do much, and then as soon as she realizes that he's telling the truth and there's a big shootout, she's like, I love you! And then that's all we ever see of her.
Yeah.
Like, and then Taya Leone's character is also annoying, unreasonable, naggy, and also a vegetarian and animal activist, just to be even more annoying.
Yeah.
It was. I forgot we were.
Those
in Miami
annoying
a couple times for
vegetarians.
This movie. Like, it felt very modern California.
Yeah, it did. Except for there is a scene of that foot race of where shirtless Will Smith is John Wooing it through town. They're like, oh, we're in Miami, so we can run through a bikini-clad photo shoot.
Yeah.
But we're also in Miami, so there's a bunch of Jewish grandmothers and a hairdresser.
This scene was hilarious. The number of like obstacles that they run into through this entire chase.
They're like, oh, what could he run through in Miami?
Oh God, a ton of guys in wheelchairs. Look out! Oh, they run over a biker on like a Venice Beach type bridge, and he's just like, oh fuck! Yeah.
They're just like, Mike should have ran through a boat show, and like a heat game.
It's like when all the guys in the wheelchair show up, I was like, what? Why did they do it?
I know,
this?
yeah. What did the wheelchair basketball team ever do to them? And they got totally screwed over.
It was just so weird.
I might be wrong. I might be thinking of this movie, but I feel like that there's a wheelchair basketball thing in The Rock as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's just really good friends with them and was like, want to do a cameo in the movie?
Yeah,
we'll have to look that up.
I just thought that was funny.
It's amazing.
It's like a charity.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, I mean, it had to be Miami because there's that shot of the plane flying over the Miami sign. That's also the exact same shot that he uses in Pain and Gain.
Giant Miami sign. Yep.
You know what I'll say for the female characters? I need this in Bad Boys 4 or 3 or what they confuse.
You don't care about 3. I'm ready for 4.
We're on 4 now. We skipped 3. It's like they should have made a 3 in between.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's like I need them to at least go to her gravesite for the first like working woman that died. Like, it's like let her get a moment. Just remember her.
Yeah.
It was something where it was like, oh wow, like this could actually make this stand out of him. Like, oh, he has his contact, he's this smooth operator, and it's like, oh, like he fucked up, like he actually put her in danger. And the Will Smith's acting the shit out of the scene where he's supposed to feel that.
He is.
It just doesn't carry over to anything else later in the movie.
Yeah, the very next night he's at Club Hell looking at all
Right.
the spread out ass or
listen.
whatever Martin Lawrence says.
When there was like
Well, no,
a
before
foot
that, the
in front of
masseuse
his
shows
face.
up.
That's right. Yeah.
When like somebody was just like putting a high-heeled foot in front of his
yeah.
face a bunch of times, it's like, ugh.
And he's looking at
You
it
know,
like,
you know there's nothing sexier than a shoe.
It's not. You don't even see the woman it's attached to. By the way,
Right. That's
like
right.
it's just
The
a
foot just
disembodied foot.
It's actually just the shirtless Pierce Bouncer just with a mannequin leg.
I say he's just like sticking his stick. Like cute foot.
God.
now shake it around a bit.
Yeah, so the amount of scantily clad women that just make it into the background because, it's Miami, like that's the thing that's happening, is a lot and does not lend to the female representation in this movie because it's like, like we're going to have this character do something, but then like there's the masseuse that shows up is basically like,
Also a hooker.
also a hooker?
I
It's
guess.
implied, I guess.
That's the question. Is like, was all his women's hookers?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it seemed like.
Because he's like, she's a masseuse, but then he specifically says she massages things.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, okay, so she's a
But she also
hooker.
showed up naked.
Yeah.
And
Well-
he's a rich guy.
Yeah.
And he's a rich guy.
I was gonna say there's no actual nudity in this movie though, right?
No, not really.
I don't think
No
so.
one's actually naked.
Except for the unclear if Martin Lawrence's dick was out.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But we don't really see it. That's
Yeah.
why there's a question.
Well, we don't see it. It's like, was it out in theory?
Yeah, that's right.
Let's call him up and find out. But yeah, at least it's not like also all those women were naked all over the place.
If a
or
dick
whatever.
flops in a bathroom and no one's there to see it.
Literally about the new movie. That's one of the things I'm interested about because like I saw the clip when like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence like they went to like some other movie shoot like and they're just like two black movies on the same set. This is awesome, right? And then it was like Martin Lawrence was so old in that clip.
Yeah.
I see a lot of wins if they play that right, but at the same time, if they're still trying to make him like young Mark Burnett, this could be like
It could not be good.
That was my thought too.
Yeah.
When I saw the trailer, I was like,
He looks puffy.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
He looks puffy. It is funny how, in these movies, Martin Lawrence is like the family man and Will Smith is the playboy, and they are like complete opposites in real life.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's kind of funny. Do we want to talk about the crazy final
Finale.
action sequence?
Absolutely.
So it's on the airport, like, hangar
Yeah,
or
the
whatever.
hangar, yeah.
So some possibly Cuban guy is coming to take the drugs. On a
Right.
plane?
Well, no, a stereotype, a drug dealing stereotype shows up
Yeah.
to buy the drugs. Actually,
In
before,
a cream-colored suit.
Yes.
of
Yeah,
course.
just like picture. Yeah, exactly.
just picture what a Simpsons drug dealer would look like.
Yep,
Yeah.
And
That's
that is
what
it.
this guy is. Actually, before we get into the rest of this, can we also, when they escape Club Hell, they steal a truck filled with ether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just
I think it was the bad guys' truck because they were going to use the ether to
Right.
cut the
to
drugs.
cut the drugs, but it was basically just them so they could have like Donkey Kong exploding barrels.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot we get to see a super babyface Kevin Corrigan in
That's
this
right.
movie. As like the Walter White of the
I just love the idea of just like, oh no, he stole the explosives truck. Because that's when Michael Bay is just like, oh, we need to justify the explosions. But then he learns you don't need to justify them. Things just blow up.
Yeah, why did they even have that car parked outside Club Hell in the
You
first
know,
place?
he's like, you don't move. It's like, why? Like, just bring them in.
Yeah.
Yeah, why did they have to take the explosives to Club Hell? Just take it directly to the lab.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes no sense. Michael Imperioli's in this movie too.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Jojo.
That's kind of a funny scene too when they shake him down.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna kill you, and then Martin Lawrence is like, don't kill him, and he's like, Mike's like, I'm gonna kill
He's
him.
like around the corner, like, oh God, don't shoot him! Oh my God! Like playing it up. I thought that was kind of
Fake
funny.
good cop, bad cop.
Murder cop, no murder cop.
Yeah.
So airfield.
On
Yeah.
the way to the airfield, after he sends them, and it's like, even though they've all been reassigned by Mark Huckenberger, the chief or their boss or whoever, Joey Pants. Joey Pants is like, go do what you need to do. And then for some reason, he like picks up the phone and is like, I need to call in a favor. I need SWAT. I need helicopters. I need every car you have. But None of that stuff comes into play at all,
No.
and they all drive up right as everything ends. And
Well,
it's like,
'cause
what was
doesn't-
the point of that?
Doesn't he say, like, I don't know where they're going to need to be, but I need them at some point?
It's like, that did not
Oh,
help.
you're a bad
I'm like,
police
all.
I'm
officer.
pre-ordering the SWAT right now. I'll give you the shipping address later.
It's like he should have saved that favor and called it in for a time when he knew exactly where and when to be.
Yeah.
He's never watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
I think they just, like, they must have just gone outside and waited to hear the explosions.
That's
And
right.
go, it sounds like it's coming from the east that way.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Lots of explosions in this
Tay
one.
Leone is with them for some reason.
Sure.
In the car.
Well, she did the stakeout, and she's entitled to peek because she sat in a car.
Yeah, it's her fault that the stakeout fails because she's like, "Oh, let me look at the binoculars. Let me."
Well, this scene is so weird too because the whole time that they show them looking at the bad guys, they're clearly looking right at them. Like the
Yeah.
cutaways, it's like
Yeah.
the guy's holding binoculars in his hand, looking straight at the camera, and you're like, they're looking at you, dude. And then they still let her look, and then it's like you see her look through the binoculars, and then through that you see the bad guy looking through binoculars at her, but she doesn't say like, "Hey, he's looking right at me with binoculars."
She's like, "Oh, we got a birder on the
you
show."
know how binoculars work.
It's just like, couldn't you tell they were looking at you? Like, come on. I guess she's not a cop, so maybe she doesn't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Also,
There's
her
more
dog's
hope in Bad Boys too.
Yeah.
I'm just like they made some better women characters.
Okay. Good. I'm looking forward to
Absolutely.
it.
In fact, they introduced a character that kind of answers everything we're crapping on.
Okay.
Like,
Perfect.
She was already looking so sad. I'm like, no.
Okay. Yeah. No. Trust me, we've been through a lot franchise-wise, so I always have hope for the next one.
Yeah, well, and also like all of that is true, and at least like I think that part of the reason why it's so frustrating in this movie is where like there's actors that we like, there's characters that have like that there's potential for life and purpose and meaning for these female characters, and it's just squandered, and that's more than we can say for a lot of the movies that we
Well, and it's weird that they kind of just set it up and then drop it, especially with Tay Leone.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know.
I have to be honest. Like for me, as a Michael Bay watcher, it's just like it's more of him and just his attitude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's
and in real
he's
life.
pulled some moves that show he just doesn't value a woman's acting talent on his set. So that's like until he finds until there's a woman that's like can kick his ass into making a good movie about her or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be interesting.
He's still unmarried.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
All those millions.
Yeah, right.
That's okay. He can hire a masseuse.
In fact, Mike Lowry was him.
It's like I really relate with this character.
Absolutely.
Can we have one more lady show up?
So in the final scene, once the bad guys realize that the cops are there, they immediately shoot the stereotypical drug lord for some reason.
Yeah, and
I
then
was
he
like,
dies.
Why shoot him? What was the point of that?
He dies going like, "Hijo de puta."
Yeah.
I was like, come on.
Well, they wanted his car. You see.
Oh.
No,
Cars.
I have no idea why they.
It was weird.
No,
was
all of a
just like-
sudden
I
they're
was
like,
like,
it's
we-
a double cross.
We need 4 days for this deal to go down, and then he wired us the money, and so now we kill him.
Well, to immediately accuse him of a double cross too, when these same 2 cops have been chasing you for a week, to then say, "Oh, it must be him who double crossed us."
They're wearing like bulletproof vests that say "police" in like giant letters, and everyone's like, "It's a double cross!" Immediately.
So R.I.P. Rando drug lord.
I thought that was really funny.
A lot of fighting and shooting and explosions.
There's some hilarious explosions where people's bodies go flying
Yeah.
like across the room.
There's one point where Martin Lawrence says, "You forgot your boarding pass," and then he shoots a flaming tank, and then a guy flies out of a plane into a rack of flammable chemicals.
It's pretty funny.
In a Looney Tunes style that is just...
As he screams.
Mwah.
Yeah. He's like screaming the whole way.
It's like the finale formula was just one-liner explosion.
I did appreciate that they both got shot.
Yes.
For real.
They did.
Instead of like miraculously missing every bullet. They actually both got shot in
Catching a-
non-lethal spots, but
Catching a bullet.
it was appreciated.
Realistic gunfights.
How
And
would
then-
you? Oh, what were you
I
gonna say?
was gonna say, when they're finally driving away, the three main characters were driving away from the building, like, it's gonna blow, and they're like driving away, and then you see the huge explosion. There's like clear just fireworks that are like straight coming out that are not part of like a chemical explosion. They're just straight up like
Well, it was a
fireworks.
fireworks factory.
Well, I was curious how you guys would rate this giant explosion
Ooh.
to other giant explosions that we've had, because this one's pretty big.
It was pretty good.
It's pretty big.
It's huge because it's like they blow up the whole building and it's like zoomed way out, so it is like it's extra big.
But I feel like Michael Bay, I'm sorry, this is not the biggest explosion we've had on the show.
Okay.
I think it's close. I think it's close, but I don't think it
Unless
is.
people are actually injured accidentally, it's just not big
Unless
enough.
they almost charred a woman.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Well, true.
We have to wait for the Shout Factory
Yeah, was
version.
that on the special features, Justin?
No, the special features basically consist of a gun commercial. There's this entire like behind the scenes how the bad boys got bad or something like that, and the entire behind the scenes thing is all just with like the special effects guy and the prop master who like rented them all the guns, and it's a bunch of like hey, Mike uses this gun, and here's what it looks like shooting a lava lamp in slow motion. So it's like all this like test footage of them shooting the guns over and over again, and that's the entire thing. It's like there's not much about making the movie other than like here's the gun they used, and here's what it looks like when it shoots a TV or a fish tank or what. It's like I don't know.
Bathroom.
So if you're super into guns, special features for you on Bad Boys.
Oh.
There is
Seems
a
like,
there is
the
a
Rambo special features and the missing in action.
there is a
special
director
features.
commentary from Michael Bay that I did not get to listen to.
Oh, I want to revisit
I'm
that.
sure
It's not
that-
like they cut any of Martin Lawrence's jokes out.
That's true. That's true.
Speaking of Martin Lawrence's children in this movie, this is like the most successful child star check-in I've had in a while.
Oh
It's
my
actually
God.
able to find all three of these kids. So Tiffany Samuels, who played Megan Burnett, which is a little girl, she is a branded menu strategist at McDonald's. So marketing.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Corey Hodges, who played James Burnett, he works for the UCI Department of Anthropology as an analyst.
Ooh.
And then Scott
Go
Cumberbatch,
Anteaters.
who played Quincy Burnett, he has his own gospel group called Scott Cumberbatch and Anointed Praise.
Scott Cumberbatch.
Yeah, and you can listen to his album Hymns from the Heart on Amazon Prime. And he also works as an administrator at Passaic County Technical Institute, teaching STEM classes or administrating something. I don't know. It's a tech high school.
That's
So
fun.
yeah, they're all three of them have nice, careers, and I was
great.
actually able to find the exact people for once. Usually, I'm like, I'm 75% sure this is them. Yeah.
So I'm curious, Iwari, growing up, I was wondering if you had any like affinity for the soundtrack for this movie at all. If you listening to it now, watching it back again this week, if you were like, oh man, I love that song, or like,
I was like, I didn't have any big soundtrack moments for this one.
Yeah.
Like, I think Bad Boys 2 really took the soundtrack moment.
I think you're right.
But
I
like
feel the
this,
same
this
way.
one kind of had more like a little stock music in it, a little cutty scene. I mean, it was, like you said, it was the 80s, 90s, like just, I don't know, cutscene music vibe. But
There's a scene where Will Smith and Martin Lawrence sing the Bad Boys theme in the car.
Yes, which
but it
is
seems
actually
like
very funny.
Yeah, but it seems like they didn't actually play the song on set because it's like
They
totally
did not.
off with what the timing is in the music.
So, question: do we think that this movie is only called Bad Boys so that we can bring in the song for some reason?
Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Were they really that bad of boys?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if they're the best cops.
No, they kill a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a whole kill count conversation that goes throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Who killed more people? But I think at least it's like considered a negative that someone
Yes.
else's kill count is.
No,
larger
like
than
the
yours.
whole
Yeah.
time, like before they go into Club Hell, they're like, let's not kill the guy before we get the information. Let's just go in there and be police officers, and they're not able to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, Cops, the show started in 1989, so
Oh yeah.
maybe whoever wrote the script was like, wanted to have the bad boys be the cops.
Yeah, well, I mean, Halloween was just made like, oh, that's just a great name for a movie. Like, it's not,
That's true.
But
But I mean, there was a specific scene of them singing the song,
Yes.
so that must have been written in the script, I assume, unless they were just like on set making that up. But
Yeah.
I doubt it. I don't know. That's a good question. I was hoping that the special features on the movie would talk about that. But
maybe Michael Bay will talk about it in the
maybe.
director's commentary.
So, do we have a rating or a ranking?
That's a great question. Off the top of my head, how many bologna sandwiches? How many flesh sandwiches?
That was a funny scene. You know you're eating flesh,
Right.
and I was like, yeah, that might
Obviously,
make
it's
me
what
that might
all
make me
meat
feel
is.
gross
Yeah.
too, because just that word, the way it's being
how
used.
about we go? How many missed pages would you give?
She makes me quit bologna temporarily every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah.
Temporarily being the key.
Yeah, the
word.
way she explains it, like it's like they take all the parts and then they just like squeeze it into a sheet.
Which is
And I was like,
True.
So if you
True.
stop eating it for long enough, that description gets sexy again.
he also washes off a pickle at one point.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. He washes
Oh,
it off in
soda.
soda,
Yeah, yeah.
that was gross.
Yeah.
They disrespected some food.
Yeah, I don't appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. How many Coca-Cola soaked pickles would you give Bad Boys? The first one.
I think I'm gonna give it 6. 6, Coke soaked pickles.
That makes it sound more fun.
Yeah, I don't know. 6 Coke soaked pickles. Coca-Cola soaked
Yeah. There,
pickles.
that's that. There you go. There you go. That's what I was.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I remember Bad Boys 2 more because that came out like when I was in high school.
Because it's better.
and like I just have like better memories of that one. But this was fun to go back to. Just like I loved the 90s of it, and just like something that felt so old, and then there's a new movie coming out like in a couple weeks. It's just kind of fun to kind of see where that started, see where Michael Bay started, because I've enjoyed some of his movies as well. And yeah, I think this holds up pretty well as like a super solid 90s action film.
I'm going to give it 5 Coca-Cola soaked pickles, which, by the way, you're ruining my Diet Coke ginger lime that I'm trying to drink right now. So it's
sure
got
that's not a
picture
Diet
of
Coke
green.
pickle?
Could be pickle flavored.
Ginger pickle.
Ginger pickle.
Gross. Sick. Anyway, it's my fault for drinking this. But anyway, 5 because of of course, we already talked about the female characters, and also just like, yes, it holds up as an action movie, but to me, like Martin Lawrence's character, the way his mind works, does not hold up. Like, it is so crazy and distrustful, and like
It's sitcom logic.
it's so
It works on an episodic basis of like we need to generate conflict, so I'm going to be irrationally
and
weird about this. Yeah.
Everything that he thinks is like justified briefly, but then they just keep it going for
Right.
way too long. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, I think I enjoyed it. I thought Will Smith was really good. I was surprised to find out this was the first feature film when I looked on his IMDb later, and it really just like shows how they knew, like, well, this guy's a freaking star. Put him in everything, because he takes not the greatest material and makes it really shine.
Tyler?
Oh, I think I'm going to go 6 Coca-Cola soaked pickles. I think that it is a fairly incredible debut, especially because so much of the Michael Bay formula that is successful and, part of some of the biggest action movies of all time is clear. It's already here. Like, his style is fully formed. It's already out in the open. I think that there's something awesome about the characters and kind of in 95 of just having like, hey, like we're having, yes, it's a buddy cop thing, but yes, it's 2 black actors. It's also like Will Smith is like, yeah, I'm the super rich cop. It's different stuff that I think that I definitely took for granted when I was 8 when I was watching it. That going back to it of like how dated it is and how it's like, oh yeah, like that's not cool at all, but in contrast to that, it's like, okay, well, there's actually some stuff here that was probably controversial at the time, and there was probably, I could see, some Bob Dole supporter being up like, oh, the bad boys, like it's ruining society.
Right.
Yeah, so I think that it's I can't believe it's his first movie, quite honestly, and I think all the performances are pretty good, and I think the action's fairly great.
Yeah. Save the guest for last. Iwari, you want to give a rating?
Sure. I think I'm sitting around. I think I'm gonna give it like 6.5.
Nice.
Coke dip sodas. Or pickled sodas.
Pick it up.
I made it complicated.
Pickle dip sodas. 6.5. We got a floater.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I enjoyed this movie. Like, the plot was solid. The action was crazy. Like, it was the type of thing, like, going back is like, I'm not the most into like looking up who made a film, but it's like literally as I'm watching, like, God damn, this has like more explosions than Michael Bay, and it's like, no, Michael Bay made this. So, that's great. Definitely agree with what Eliz said about the female characters needing some more development. The jokes were great, action was great. Plot just keeps rolling. And, it's also just the 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a lighter time, I feel like, in movies, like romp type of fun movies were just a thing.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, you're going to sit down in the theater, the bar's going to come down, and you're going to go for a ride for, like, 2 hours.
Exactly.
Sweet. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of Bad Boys, and we'll fast forward next week to 2003
That's
for
what we're
Bad
gonna
Boys
do.
2.
Yeah, and like you guys have both seen this movie, I feel like a lot, so I'm just gonna be like, doop, doop, doop. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But before we go, I want to say thank you to Iwari for being here. It was great to have you.
That was awesome.
And actually, we're gonna play one of your songs on the way out. So for anyone listening, we're gonna play the song "Getting High."
Okay. Cool.
I'm curious if you have any insight about how that song came about, or
oh, sure.
I was digging it on the album, so I'm like, I want to put that one on.
No, I appreciate that. That was one of my earlier songs that it's literally one of the songs out of the first group that I made. It's kind of made it on like most of my projects somehow, just because going independent, some stuff you just want it to get exposed every time. Mm-hmm. But honestly, it's like marijuana was a big thing for me coming out to California. Mm-hmm. It was a part of the culture. It was a part of the scene, and it helped me with some medical issues that I had from childhood that nothing else really worked for. Nice. And I just felt like I owed Miss Mary Jane a song. I got a little prophetics in my rhyme, and I was talking about it being legal and everything back then. So I'm excited that now I live in a legal state. The times for the song have come.
That's right.
Other than that, it's just motivated by my life. I'm just inspired by what I do.
Sweet.
I felt like it was worthy of rapping.
Well, yeah. Well, if our listeners are liking what they hear, where can they find your music or track you down?
I have music released on all the major platforms, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, Tidal, all the stuff that you would want to check out. If you want to get a easy link is Iwari.com, which will show up as Iwari.net, and I'm working on getting the whole thing fixed right now. But, somebody owned my .com, but now I own it. Nice. But it will show up as the .net. All right. Yeah. And, you can just dig around. I suggest my SoundCloud. There's some things on there that aren't released anywhere else as well. And,
sweet. Cool.
More music's coming soon. 2020 is going to be a big year. I've kind of been planning and plotting and just building a lot of music so I can deliver it in packages for people to enjoy that hopefully it'll connect to them.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, we'll link to the SoundCloud somewhere on the social. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very cool. All right. Well, I guess we'll see you guys next week. But before we go, Eliz, where can people reach out to us?
Yeah, don't forget to email us, sequelrights@gmail.com, and find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at sequelrights.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It means a lot to us. And until then,
Bad Boys 2.
For life.
Bad Boys 2.
What would Bad Boys 3 have been called?
Bad Boys
3D. It's always 3D.
Bad Boys.
See, now we know when they should have dropped it, back when they were 3D'ing everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, remember Gulliver's Travels 3D? Why did that happen?
It's gonna be like Bad Boys for life. Bad Boys. I plead the fifth.
Yeah, good one.
I
don't have a three. I don't have a three.
I don't know. Bad Boys 3.
Well, for Bad Boys, before we record Bad Boys 2, get to us with your Bad Boys 3.
They just
suggestions.
They turn the B's into threes, and it says,
Oh my God, yes,
Three,
yes.
three boys, 3.
Perfect.
Mike's secret son.
That's right. That's right. Willow.
All right.
Anyway.
all right, Bad Boys 2 next week. See you there.
First I break up all the problems in my weed, hoping that whatever I produce will satisfy all of my needs, because life can get so motherfucking hectic, always throwing curveballs at your knees whenever you least expect it. But I gut and feel the swisher up and vibe to this song. If that don't get me high enough, I go right to the bomb, compressing, caressing the herb, then I wrap it up. If I just rolled a double blunt, my homies clap it up, because we gonna get higher than the clouds and slowly walk down back and forth like we was a smoke shroud. I spark the flame and set my problems on fire. Burn that shit until it's gone. The only question is, can I get higher? I'm getting high, man. Up in the sky, man. I'm floating by, man. Don't ask me why, man. I'm getting high, man. Up in the sky, man. I'm floating by, man. Don't ask me why, man. Don't ask me where I'm going. Don't ask me what I'm doing, cause I'm way too high to answer, which my eyes should be proven. Have to shotgun a Red Bull just to keep myself moving. Blowing O's, peppermint tea on the stove brewing. Got the drinkies and the munchies on my mind while I'm stewing. Watching highlights of Michael Jordan dunking on Patrick Ewing. I just rolled the perfect blunt for my viewing. It's gonna last the whole time in my high, it will keep boosting. I'm in a daze and in a laze and on my couch roosting. The more I smoke, the more I feel like to the couch I'm gluing. Mary Jane sitting next to me in a sexy thong. In reality, it's perfect to the brim packed in my bong. No matter what, I know that Mary Jane won't do me wrong. I had to pay her back, that's why I made this song. Cannabis should be legal from here to Hong Kong. That's why I'm in California where it shouldn't take long. I'm getting high, man. Up in the sky, man. I'm floating by, man.